My footsteps echo off empty sidewalks. A lifetime contained in the sound. Memories chasing me like ghosts I couldn't shake. Have you ever stood at that threshold? Door behind you, cityscape in front. A suitcase of regrets and hope in hand. Have you ever wondered if walking away was surrender or salvation? For those of us cast as scapegoats, family isn't shelter, it's the storm. And survival means rewriting the script they handed you at birth. Family, they say, is supposed to be your starting line. For me, it was the obstacle course. My whole youth I chased perfection. Honor rolls, first in class, every star I could pin to my name, hoping validation would fill the gaps love left behind. My father, always drunk, eyes forever searching for a different son. My mother, barely grown herself, carried by tides stronger than her. In their world, I was never quite right. A puzzle piece hammered into place. I tried harder. The bar rose higher. Eventually, the mask stuck problem child, the built-in excuse for everything wrong in our house. You carry that role like a tattoo, invisible but never forgotten. Each achievement dissolves in fresh blame. You become the story your family needs to tell about itself. Every fire, somehow, was your match. By adolescence, my soul was raw from the rubbing. The script stuck, so I wrote my own, in pain and rebellion. Drugs, robberies, locked doors and locked hearts. Some say it was just bad decisions, but they never ask about the hunger that drove them. The need to feel something other than not enough. Every bad choice was a drowning man fighting for air. Every arrest a grasp for control in a world that said, "You're the problem." I left home at 18, but I'd been gone long before that, emotionally, spiritually. My brother was just a child, 15 years the junior, but for a long time he seemed to understand my storms. He saw what others chose not to see. Loss carved deeper wounds. My mother's recent death came before healing ever started. My father stopped drinking but pursued other escapes. I watched my brother grow in the ruins I'd escaped. At first he was my smallest ally. Then, he began repeating their chorus, echoing the rejection, blaming me for ghosts he'd never met. That was the last cut I could take. I said goodbye, for the last time. Grief stings, but I owed myself more than self-immolation on their altar of shame. Leaving? That was survival, not cowardice. They sell us myths. Blood is thicker than water. Family is forever. But if your first tribe made you the outcast, that wound is bone deep. Betrayal by those sworn to love you isn't just a cut. It's annihilation of trust, belonging, self-worth. I understand now, my struggles weren't born from weakness but from breathing in a house full of secondhand agony. Their flaws, handed to me as proof of my brokenness. Here's the truth. I see now that my hardships are rooted in their failings and pain, but I don't blame them anymore. Maybe youth, trauma, and their own blind spots bound them in chains I couldn't break for them. That's not my weight to carry. Clarity, not blame, is what finally set me free. The family scapegoat isn't a role given to the weakest. Often, it's the one who sees, who refuses to play along, who's strong enough to disrupt the family lie. My independence, it crashed into their fiction like a wrecking ball. Exposing what was broken, I became easier to label than to understand. To me, solitude wasn't a punishment. It became the proving ground where I tempered shame into armor, sorrow into sharpness. Exile forced me face to face with my true self. As a Sigma, I learned the stinging value of walking alone, not for pride, but for survival. Wounds became blueprints, pain, the forge of purpose. Dysfunctional families run on silent agreements. Don't speak, don't question, don't disturb. Obey the script or pay in love withheld and blame piled high. My parents were young, lost themselves, still learning what it meant to hurt and be hurt. That explains the pattern, but doesn't excuse it. I carried the consequences, the dirty lens that distorted every color of my world. You begin healing the moment you admit you don't have to wear the label they made for you. It's not easy. Some wounds aren't visible. Healing is the slow climb out. Grieving lost possibilities, killing old hopes so new ones can breathe. But it's your climb. Their acceptance no longer sets your worth. I learned to forgive. Not for them, never for them. For me. When you stop blaming, you stop letting the past write tomorrow's script. Responsibility isn't the same as blame. I see them now, broken, young, lost. I don't hate them, but I also don't owe them my destruction. Compassion can coexist with boundaries. Embracing solitude and resilience. It's a journey, right? I've found strength in being alone and resilience in facing my fears. Solitude isn't loneliness, it's a state of self-reliance. It's where I've discovered my true self and learned to stand tall, no matter the storm. Sigma men, we find meaning in our own company. Exile becomes sanctuary when you turn inwards, granting yourself space to meet the version of you that's unfiltered by anyone else's story. You choose your identity, you define your peace. This is a power denied to those who still chase approval in all the wrong places. Mourning your family isn't betrayal. Setting boundaries protects the only soul you truly control, your own. It isn't vengeance, it's declaration. My peace matters too. Choosing yourself after a life of being chosen last is sometimes the only antidote to betrayal. Guilt comes, but self-abandonment is too high a price to pay for belonging. Some of us send love from a distance, some not at all. I left with damage, the kind that doesn't show but never really leaves. Yet every step into silence was a reclamation. What family failed to build in trust, I poured into resilience. True resilience isn't just endurance, it's transformation. It's finding forgiveness for yourself, so the bleeding finally stops, so the cycle ends with you. My pain is not my prison, it's my teacher. Bitterness is not the lesson, unbreakability is. Family isn't the people who share your blood, it's the ones who show up, who see your scars and don't use them against you. I found my people far from home, those who saw not the scapegoat but the survivor. You will too. Step 1 is seeing yourself without that old disguise. And now, as we conclude, remember this. Every ending is just a new beginning in disguise. Embrace the journey ahead with hope and courage. Was I wrong to walk away? No. The bravest act is to refuse to let the past take hostage of your future. Your story, the real one, starts at the border where their narrative stops. There are memories that shine so brightly in my mind, I feel them in my whole being. Some warm, others painful. 2 of these, both about my brother, keep shaping me today as I look back and try to grow from them. The first memory is simple and golden. When we were young, my brother looked at our old Spectrum computer with the awe of a child seeing magic for the first time. To him, I was almost a hero, maybe even a little like a god. He trusted me completely, admired me more than I understood back then. Just having him close, seeing that easy happiness in his eyes, is something I still hold dear deep inside. The second memory is heavier. Later, when the Amiga came along, I had already left home. I started coming back only when Dad wasn't around. Those short visits felt peaceful, a soft cocoon of love from our mother and quiet understanding with my brother. Yet, even in those moments, I was too focused on surviving my own troubles to see what he needed from me. I left behind more than just the outline of my body in the bed. I left unspoken words and broken promises. I know he felt let down, and that thought still weighs on my heart. Now, years later, I see both memories for what they are. One glowing, one aching, but both real. My brother always seemed able to enjoy what was in front of him, while I kept searching for answers I couldn't find. There is part of me that envies his peace. I hope, one day, to find the right words, to really reach him, and maybe set things right between us, with love and truth. Betrayed by blood was just my prologue. Freedom began the day I chose clarity over blame, solitude over toxic loyalty, forgiveness over vengeance, and purpose over pain. The world is wide and the real you is waiting. Make your own beginning. Walk proud, Sigma strong, never sorry. To everyone who's still here, thank you. Seriously. The fact that you've given your time to this message means more than I can express. I hope these words have given you something to think about, something to hold on to, or even just the reassurance that you're not alone in all of this. Your growth, your journey, and your purpose matter, not just to you, but to the world that needs strong, authentic men like you. If this resonated with you, share it with someone who might need the same reminder. And if you'd like to keep this conversation going, hit that like button, leave a comment, or let me know your thoughts. Your feedback, your presence, it's all what makes this community stronger. 3, 2, 1.